I think that all of the people who are doing anything good and right in this particular government that was, or this coalition that was elected, they are, this whole protest, this is not even about necessarily, well, it's not about judicial reform. We know it's about the religious, the fact that the religious may, so to speak, take over, which is not even going to be the case if this reform goes through. It's not. And listen, if you ask me, I was thinking about it. I find it so strange that, like, the people that are funding all this stuff, at least in Israel, I'm not even talking about outside funding, the people that are like organizing all this stuff, you're talking about people like, they're like probably the biggest losers in Israeli political history. Ehud Olmert, who went to jail, and Ehud Barak, who's like, friends with Jeffrey Epstein and all the rest of it. So, and like, they've been losers in Israeli politics for a very long time. What does that mean? That means that Hashem is allowing these people to do what they're doing. These like literally villains. These like villains who are like, you ever see those movies where the villain is like away for a long time and he's like in exile, but then he comes back to like wreak havoc, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is what and Hashem is allowing them to do this. Why? I firmly believe that if it wasn't Bibi in charge of this coalition, if it would be somebody else, that this would not be the case. Why? Because Hashem is, this is Mida Keneged Mida. This is measure for measure for what Bibi did to the people of Israel during COVID. I firmly believe that. Because, no matter what arguments Simcha Rothman comes out and says, and he's making logical arguments, and he's saying this is not about, for these people, it's not about this, it's not about that. And here's what Gideon Sar said, here's what Yair Lapid said. No one is willing to listen. Not even the people who are like, not everybody in these protests is a, Maoist Red Guard or some kind of a prepaid whatever operative, right? There are some people who legitimately just come out and say, we don't agree with, or they just don't even know. They don't even know what, meaning they disagree with the judicial reform. They just don't know why there needs to be the judicial reform. They think there's nothing wrong. And you can't even explain it to them. Or if you ask them, they have no idea what's fine. They just know what's wrong. So I feel like the fact that this is happening, it's obviously from Hashem. Clearly, I mean, it happened on Tisha B'Av, right? These guys initiated on, and you were saying, well, why is it bad? This and that. Like, clearly, it happened in a time that it happened, and I don't know. I just feel like Hashem is doing something, where he's basically, unfortunately, Bibi has to get his just desserts. His cosmic, I guess you could say, just desserts, and it's unfortunate because it didn't have to be this way for him, or by extension for the government. The government is suffering. The people in the coalition who are trying to do the right things are suffering because of him. Really, they are. Ben Gvir and Smotrich and all these people. Yeah.